is fantastic. I'm just going to talk you through. I don't know whether you can see that. Got it. Okay, there. I'm going to just talk to you about what makes Holland America Line so unique, and just some knowledge about our brand and how it might best suit your clients and what's important to them when they're trying to choose a cruise line. If it's the big blingy lights and floating theme parks, then this may not be the right product for them, but not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just about finding the right cruise experience for your guests and what they're sort of after in holidays. After that, I'll just talk you through exactly what Lara was talking about, our current promotions and the fantastic package offerings that Creative Cruising have got to. Oh, now this isn't working. One moment, hang on, sorry. Bit of a tech issue here. Now, there we go. Now it's working. Home technology, that's my other favorite thing. So who is Holland America Line? Foremost, we are a premium cruise line. So we're a little different to the other cruise lines in that premium space. We define ourselves more by more than just an age demographic. We define ourselves by our guests seeking experiences and just after new, different adventures. The majority of them don't have any financial dependent children at home anymore. So they're beelining for ticking off their bucket list experiences, and now that's their time to sort of start spending some money on them. So they'd rather invest in experiences rather than just purchasing things. They're looking to just travel and to see the world, so they don't want to choose a cruise line to go shopping and play bingo. They want that cruise line to take them somewhere. Our core demographic are also foodies. They dine out regularly. They're very good cooks these days, so they see themselves, with a high interest in food. And they also grew up listening to live music in clubs and bars. The explorer in our guests, we now have a dedicated space on board all of our ships to help them make the most of their shore time. So our Exploration Central, or our EXC space as we call it, is located at the top of each ship in the Crow's Nest Lounge. This space just isn't about us trying to sell our own shore excursions. It's for guests to ask for advice, to learn about the cultures and just the significant offerings that all of these ports that we visit have to offer them. They can go there to plan ahead, to listen to talks from local experts, and just really immerse themselves in the destination that they're going to. Our cruise directors are all now fully qualified destination experts. So they're upstairs at EXC on hand, ready to help. So we know in the cruise industry that the best part of cruising is the excitement of waking up in a new port or a new country. It's all about the destination. So our EXC team is here to help guide these guests through that excitement and the anticipation with this program that we have on board. Onto my favourite topic, food. I personally have not had a bad meal or a dining experience on board any of our ships at all. I still dream about eating our beautiful poolside burger and can't wait for that to happen again. Here is a shot of our flagship dining experience on the Koningsdam. This shot is. All of our ships have a two-tiered main dining room space on board. They offer multi-course up to 5-course dinners every night. And they're also open for full service breakfast as well, and for lunch on fee days. This is enough for most of our guests. Sometimes they don't want to move on to our specialty restaurants. They're very happy with the exceptional food that's on offer there every night. But for those that do want to venture out, we do have up to 6 different specialty restaurants featured on all of our ships, the bigger ones having all 6 available to them. And the price ranges from $15 for our excellent Italian, the Canaletto, up to $70 per person for our pop-up 3 Michelin star experience at De La Brea that pops up in our beautiful Pinnacle Grill. In addition to our specialty dining, we have an additional 8 casual dining venues that are all complimentary for guests, and they cover all different sort of cuisines. We've got, pizza, we have fresh sandwiches, fresh salads up in our Lido market. So the Lido market really is the standout for our casual dining on board. And for want of a better term, this is our buffet located on the pool deck. So guests can dine inside there, or they can take their dinner out. There's tables set up around our midship pool and our aft cool on all of our fleet. We have 2 cools there. And it's also good to note too that long before this pandemic, this was never a traditional self-serve area. There were no communal tongs or spoons for guests to sort of share to use. We always plated up, and still do plate up dishes for guests to go along and collect themselves. Or if that's not possible, our staff are there on hand to actually serve them. So we've always tried to minimise the spread of any viruses on board. So this space too is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Some guests choose to dine here the whole time. Our music, the other key point in our sailing, which makes us very different to everyone else. No other cruise line puts music up front and centre like we do on HAL. Deck number 3 on our entire fleet now has what we call a music walk. So this offers guests 4 live music venues that suit all different tastes. All 4 of these music partnerships are exclusive to HAL. So we no longer have a nightclub with a DJ spinning records. All of our guests just get the opportunity to choose which music they'd like to listen to as they sort of snake through really the soundtrack of their lives from one venue to the next. I'll just briefly tell you a little bit about them. The Lincoln Centre stage, this is an excellent pre-dinner venue. It's situated right outside the entrance to our main dining room. The musicians here that perform here are sent to us directly from the Lincoln Centre in New York, and they perform multiple programs of chamber music, mostly in the early evening before dinner, as well as sort of recitals and on sea days. The music's not just traditional classical music, they also do classical takes on modern songs, so from Radiohead and David Bowie, so available on all of the ships, so absolutely brilliant space. After dinner, as you're coming out of the dining room, you can walk straight past that Lincoln Centre and directly into the BB King Blues Club. So all of these performers in here come directly to us from the BB King Blues Bar in Memphis. We have 8-piece bands there, just spectacular singers. They all do 3 performances per night. So starting from after dinner, 8:45, 9:45 and 10:45. There's a dance floor in there, full service bar area in there. That really excellent clubby environment. This is where all the dancing happens on board, and particularly if we've got travel agents on board, this is where you'll always find them. If they're more into sing-along, or if they're sort of more into the mood of just sort of listening to pianos, they need to go to our billboard. That is next down the line as they walk down the music walk. This is no ordinary piano bar. On billboards, we have 2 pianists playing the top 30 hits from the past 50 years. It's really fun, very interactive. The musicians are fantastic and they have great banter. They usually pick a set or feature an artist sort of with every set. So they might do Frank Sinatra one and then, Billy Joel the next, or Adele or Robbie Williams. So it's a great spot to spend the night. If pub rock is more their mood for the night, then the Rolling Stones Rock Room is a classic rock club developed in partnership with Rolling Stones magazine, not Rolling Stones the band. And this features our live music. So again, there's a big focus on classic albums. They play a lot of Bruce Springsteen, Dire Straits, Boz Scaggs, very much in keeping with our demographic, our early baby boomers and our Gen Xers on board. So another fun night. That's actually at the moment only available on our 3 Pinnacle class ships. Our main theatre is now used for one-off special performances throughout a voyage. It's not necessarily utilised every night now. We don't just put on a show for the sake of it. Our one standout show that we have is the BBC Earth Experience. There's a few different shows produced exclusively for Holland America Line, where we bring together all of the BBC Earth unseen footage and put it together with our live Lincoln Stage Orchestra for a mind-blowing experience, particularly when we've got these floor-to-ceiling LED screens on the bigger ships that go, 260 degrees around. The surround sound, it's just an absolutely spectacular show. In fact, this partnership was so popular that BBC Earth now tour it, a different show to the one that we've got, but this is where the idea came. So another great win for Holland America Line. We are especially known for our service on board. most of our returning mariners rate the service on board Hal as the main reason they come back year after year. Our crew are just so gorgeous and genuinely warm and lovely and go out of their way to help where they can. We also travel with a full-time florist on all of our ships as well. So they're constantly keeping the public areas and all the suites sort of topped up with beautiful fresh arrangements, and just adds to that beautiful sophisticated interiors of our ships. Speaking of our ships, they are perfectly sized and uncrowded. All of our ships are built for cruising, not for crowds. They're very easily identifiable. We've got those beautiful navy blue hulls, lovely sort of sleek designs. They actually look like cruise line ships. And each one of our ships has a full wraparound promenade deck on them as well. So guests, if they're up early, that's a great sort of walking destination if they don't want to go to the gym, and not a lot of cruise lines offer that, so that's excellent. We currently have 11 ships in our fleet, 4 different classes, with the Rotterdam being our newest baby in our Pinnacle class ships. So the Rotterdam, the Nieuwsdam and the Koningsdam are all identical ships. The Rotterdam is now on its way to the Caribbean for its inaugural program down there before it makes its way back to Northern Europe. We sail to all 7 continents and over 500 different ports and 500 different itineraries, I should say, across the world. Each ship, regardless of the size, has the same proportion of space on it. So our Pinnacle class suites, ships which have 2,600 guests at a maximum, down to our Volendam and Zaandam, which have 1,400 guests. The proportion of space is still the same on each ship. So that's something that's very different to other premium class cruise lines. We are currently successfully back in service in Alaska, the Caribbean and Europe, with obviously enhanced health protocols. Our full fleet of 11 will be back in full service by April 2022 under these guidelines, which is very exciting for us. So business as usual from April next year. All of our guests and crew are fully vaccinated at a minimum. I suggest you go to our website for the full updates on cleaning procedures, air filtration, shore excursion compliance, etc. But they are constantly changing. And we also follow each health protocol for every port we visit to as well. So very, very successful season so far. We are used to receiving multiple industry awards too. So, you know, the best in Alaska, the best dining at sea, etc. But now is no better time to blow our own trumpet about this one. We've actually received the best medical facilities for the last 10 consecutive years. So health and wellbeing has always been a priority for us on Holland America Line. Now, just a little bit of vision of the what our staterooms look like. They are considerably bigger, both particularly the ocean view and the veranda staterooms than other premium cruise lines. Our verandas are definitely bigger than I've been on to other competitive brands, and they are by far bigger verandas, that's for sure. And the rooms are more spacious as well. The interiors are very neutral and clean design. These are the newer ships, obviously, but our smaller ships, the rest of the fleet, are now becoming more in line with the way the interiors look as well. We're not really moving the hardware around the room, but they're obviously updating them all with flat screen TVs, with USB ports in the room. So the fleet is, as a whole, is constantly wet and dry dock. So every 18 months to 2 years, we have a full schedule of when the dry docks and the wet docks are due on our well, actually on our agent portal, it's not on our website. So we keep them all in tip-top condition. So we just sort of make sure that everything's in tip-top condition. 2 new features on our Pinnacle class ships that I just wanted to bring to your attention. We now have family staterooms. So instead of families actually having to get previously 2 bedrooms if they've got 3 children and splitting the adults up between them, we can now house them in our family staterooms. I wouldn't put 5 adults in here. I wouldn't put your adult children in here, but it's definitely a great stateroom for younger children with 2 bathrooms. And we also have solo staterooms too. So both of these options are ocean view, and they're great alternatives for guests that are a little bit more budget conscious. Just a few little photos too of the interior, the shared spaces on board the ship. This space on the left was formerly an underused nightclub on the western arm. It's now our gallery bar on the western arm. So it just features really fantastic, quirky, modern artwork from around the world. Actually, all of our ships have the most spectacular artwork, particularly the Pinnacle class ships, just have this really way out mixed media art that's a great focal point and a really good tool that you can do around sort of all of our ships as well. We also no longer have a sports bar, so the pivot here was to combine the two. So what was the disco and the sports bar, we've made this beautiful gallery bar and lounge area. So you can see that subtle TV framed amongst all of those photos there. So, you know, your husband can act like he's listening to you while he's looking over your shoulder watching the sport. Win-win for every couple. And also the shot on the left was what the old sports bar was, and that is now, we've opened that up, and that is the back of the billboards. So back of the billboard. So the next photo on the left, that is the billboard bar. So that bar was then at the back. So if you still want to sit around the bar and you don't want to be up front and center singing along, it's a great space to be. And on the right is the Crow's Nest bar. So up where our exploration central is, guests can go around, grab a drink first, and then go back and organise their day on shore. So just a little look, that was on the Eurodarm as well, back there. We have excellent spa facilities on all of our ships, you know, spa treatments and hair salons that are obviously, you know, extra. Guests can also purchase an unlimited access to our hydro pool and thermal beds. So if you've ever been on one of our ship inspections and laid on these beds, that it's very hard to get up. So for about 200 Australian in total for a 14-night cruise. So if guests were doing the, you know, the Sydney, New Zealand cruise at Christmas, for an extra $200, they can have unlimited access into this area. Or they do give limited day passes as well for guests. So depending on how many of the full unlimited passes they have, obviously it's capacity controlled. All of our ships have full state-of-the-art fitness centres on board that are very well used. Our demographic's very fit. They're all health conscious these days. For walking around on shore. Guests obviously pay extra for spin, yoga, Pilates classes as well. Now, each ship has a fully tiered kids club on Holland America Line, which is a surprise to most. So it's excellent for that multi-generational holidays as well. We've got full-time professional staff. We take special needs children as well. The smaller numbers due to the fact that probably we don't have the big, you know, go-karts and water slides on board. The children numbers are capped and they're a lot smaller on board, so it's easier for kids to make friends. The trained professionals have a brilliant program that runs till 11 p.m. at night. So there you go. Here we go. Next slide. Finally, we've introduced an inclusive amenities package called Have It All. So all of our 2022 cruises and beyond are now priced inclusive of this premium package. So guests can get the 4 of the best amenities or the most popular amenities that they were buying on board included at half the price that they would pay if these amenities were bought separately. So priced in at around $60 Australian per day for the cruise that they're on. The value per day is worth actually $130,000, $130 Australian dollars. So just to break that down, the longer they cruise, obviously the assets go up. The price per day is still the same. But guests will receive 1 to 3 shore excursions to the value of $100 each. Now, if guests book a shore excursion that's $89, that remaining $11 will go back onto their shipboard account for another to use towards another shore excursion. It's not refunded to them in cash, so just so you know that. And the signature beverage package is a 15 drink maximum package, so for alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, which is great value as well. The specialty dining, so up to 3 nights in our specialty dining restaurant, so the Pinnacle Grill, the Tamarind or the Canaletto, and of course, hooray, a Wi-Fi package. So both guests 1 and 2 who have this package will get their own package. They won't have to jump off like they do in previous years. So there's also options if guests don't want to go ahead with this, they can sort of get another price. But to celebrate the opening of our international borders, well, for some of us in New South Wales, so it's very exciting for us. The others aren't that far behind. We currently have this fantastic promotion running until the 30th of November. There is really not much else more you could want on a Holland America Line cruise. Applicable for all of our 2022 departures. We're really, really trying to get guests to just make that step forward so we can all get paid quicker and cruise next year, travel next year, rather than sort of putting it off into 2023. So all of Europe, Alaska, Canada, New England, and it's also inclusive of the Australian-New Zealand season that runs into early 2023. It's combinable with our Have It All promotion as well. So guests will receive onboard credit, up to $200 onboard credit, minimum $100 per person onboard credit, and a $99 deposit per person. So that is really a low risk for guests. The cancellation penalties will still be as they are normally. So if guests book now, secure all of these assets, secure the best price they can possibly get, they will still have the option to get that $99 back from 90 days out from sailing, or 75 days out from sailing. So better to get in now, get these exceptional prices while they're out, because it won't last. Also, we'd like to reward new agents for your very hard work. So as Lara mentioned, we're giving away $100 gift vouchers to the first 20 deposited bookings made on this See You Soon promotion before the 30th of November. So an early Christmas present, as she said, and also another great reason to try and entice your clients to just make that step or put in that sort of low risk deposit down, so it could just at least get them thinking about moving onto holiday and that whole new world of travel. And again, as Lara mentioned, these Creative have fantastic packages put together that are very competitive. I work very closely with Karina, their product manager. So just to make sure that Creative have access to the best possible pricing, and they lock it in very early. So they have a lot of options that they can offer you, their agents, and that you can pass on to your clients. Here's a couple of the standouts as well, and they all include the See You Soon promo, have additional onboard credit as well. This fantastic 21-day cruise and land tour into Alaska that includes flights as well, which is just brilliant. And if you don't already know, Holland America Line has been voted the best cruise line in Alaska for the last gazillion years. We own Alaska. We were the first cruise company to go there, and we have 7 ships in their fleet in a normal season, 7 ships in the region at any one time, offering an abundance of different options up there. So that is an excellent package. Our second home is the Baltic, out of Holland, thus Holland America Line. Here's another fantastic 20-night cruise with 3 nights hotel accommodation, excellent fares on a tier 1 airline as well. If you compare that price to what we offer that for in the market, it's FIT, extremely great savings there. And the Mediterranean, we have brilliant east and west itineraries in the Mediterranean, and again, another fantastic package. As Lara mentioned as well, ticking and selling out very soon. Creative have some of the last suites and stateroom fares offered for our now closed circumnavigation and our parts of circumnavigation from Sydney to Perth. And also that, I'll tell you about that in the next slide, but this repositioning cruise too, that price there, we are currently selling that at FIT, just only slightly below what that full package is. So you're getting another 3 nights hotel and an airfare, a one-way airfare. So again, the packaging that Karina puts together is just absolutely excellent. So again, these itineraries are well below public price. They have secured the best group rate in there. They're the only beds that are available now, because you can't buy this directly with us. So if your clients are, thinking about doing a close to home sailing next year, these are in November. Lock it in now. The reduced deposit applies, the onboard credit applies, all of the Have It All benefits apply as well. So it really is a hot ticket in this market. We also offer Creative rock bottom pricing on many of our at-need departures, we call them. And these include our collector voyages. We've got a lot of very long, sort of over 10-night itineraries all through Europe at the moment. Karina can't possibly package them all. So I always recommend, if you've got guests that are actually looking at a particular voyage, or you've seen one that you think that they'd really like, and Creative don't offer a package, please call Tina in their reservations team, or speak to anyone in that reservations team to see if there's a better price option for your guests, because it doesn't always pull through on your booking platform through Creative. For reasons we don't allow that to happen, but always pick up the phone and see if there's a better price. Even if they don't want to have it all assets, there's another price there for guests. So it's always worth asking. There is, there's something out there for every guest. And the last of our giveaways, if you can't entice your guests to go into 2022, we have a early booking bonus for our returning mariners for our 2023 schedule. So if they book a Europe 23 before January 20, they will get extra onboard credit, and the same for Alaska. That's been out a little bit longer. So if they book a cruise now up until the 30th of December this year, they will get an additional load of onboard credit on their booking. Some guests may not know that they've got a mariner number with us, but if they've previously done an APT or a scenic tour to South America or Alaska with us, even years ago, they will organically have a mariner number with us. So always call our reservations team with your guest date of birth and number to see if we've got one on file, because then that's an easy, little asset to make you look very good as an agent. So just keeping you updated, I really encourage you all to register for GoHow. This is our exclusive website. It just shows FIT pricing in there, but as a travel advisor platform, it gives you access to our HOW Academy, which is an excellent training program that you can also earn clear points with. Very easy to use, and great information on there. It's also got a lot of great selling tools. We have our e-brochures, flyers, videos all uploaded here. All of them are PDFs and very user-friendly, so they're great to email out to clients if you're trying to get them over the line. And also for your benefit, these resource sheets are there as well. So each ship has shows you what each ship has to offer with dining, entertainment-wise. It's a great little tool to have just sort of on your desk, and also the fleet specs on every ship in the fleet, for if you guests are sort of that way inclined, or if you're doing a presentation or something and you want to know how many, what the capacity is on each. So sorry about that. I need to sort of put on another hat now. It seemed to sort of fly through it. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of information I've left out too. So speak to the Creative Cruising reservations team. Talk to Laura if you've got any questions. We have state BDMs for Holland America Line too. If you need any sort of one-on-one training or product training about, or you have any questions to ask. But again, pricing, always refer back to Creative Cruising for the best that there is there.
Thanks, Jen. Before we move on to Seabourn, we do have a couple of questions for Holland America, so we might just go through those first.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so from Rosemary, she's wanting to know, is there going to be a vaccination policy for people who previously had a booking that has been cancelled? And I'm assuming these passengers are now not vaccinated. Do we know when they will be able to cruise?
Not in the foreseeable future.
Okay,
our policy is it's all about health. Obviously, there are situations where they're medically not vaccinated, but at the moment, for medical reasons, but at the moment, all crew, all staff, they have to be pre-tested before they get on. Similar to flying at the moment, I know you have to do a pre-test before you go into a lot of countries. So we're just, it's a movable feast at the moment. So we can't predict what's going to be happening in August next year, for instance. But at the moment, we're in the water and everyone has to be vaccinated. And we have policies on board too. Our ships, we don't sell them full anymore. We have quarantine staterooms to make sure that everyone stays healthy. So if we do get a positive case, more often than not, well, they are vaccinated, so they may not have symptoms, but they've tested positive. So we still isolate that person and anyone in sort of close contact until sort of everyone is retested again. So yeah, you just have to keep updating the information. So those guests, if it was a FCC that for a pause interruption, something we'd cancelled, I think they can get a refund on that FCC if they don't plan on getting vaccinated. But we hope that's not the case and that they do come back. But yeah, so it is sort of updated. Where we stand right now, everyone, no exceptions, even children, they're starting to introduce children vaccinations too, but anyone under 12 is not or hasn't been on any of the ships that we've had so far for that reason. And now that they're trying to, you know, introduce vaccinations for children, that will change again. So watch this space.
Thank you. Okay, next question from Kathy. Do you have Wi-Fi streaming as well, and how much extra is that?
It is extra. That's an excellent question. The Wi-Fi that we offer is really sort of social, for social media, for emails. It's sort of light on. You can't really go in and download the full, you know, series of Game of Thrones or something. But if you wanted to go into a stronger program, there is an option for you to step up to that once you're on board.
From Christine, she's asked if you can outline the main difference between each of the ship categories. So as Jennifer, I think just mentioned, they are on GoHal. They're actually also on Creative Cruising. So as you are looking through Creative Cruising's website and you're looking at a particular ship, you can get the entire specifications down to the gross tonnage, the deck plan, how many restaurants, how many bars. All of that information is actually in both Creative Cruising and in GoHal. So just because we're a little bit limited for time, I don't think we'll have time to go through all of the ship categories today. From Kerry, I will pass your details, Kerry, on to Jen, and she can address that one for you. And then that was from Rosemary about the vaccination, which we've just covered. All right.
Okay. Excellent.
You want to move on to Seabourn?
Yes, I will. Now, Holland American Line and Seabourn are co-owned companies. So while we don't actively cross-sell, it does seem to happen organically sometimes. So it's not always dictated by price point when people are selecting a cruise. Again, it's just a matter of, you know, what's the right fit for that person. So one more drink, sorry. Who are Seabourn? We are the world's finest ultra luxury resort at sea. That's how we like to sell ourselves. That's how we see ourselves. We're elegant and luxurious, yet very relaxed and casual. The atmosphere and the feeling on board is like you're in a high-end country club. So there's no formal dress requirement. Our guests are on holidays. The service on board is fully personalised. It's warm, it's inviting. All of our guests are treated equally, regardless of their suite type. There's no tipping at all on board. So our crew aren't trying to impress you with their service. It's all exactly identical. And our crew to guest ratio is almost 1-to-1. So that really sort of lends itself to how great that service is. Our fleet at the moment is split in two. We have our classic fleet of 5 ships. 3 of them are Odyssey class, so all identical in layout, with 229 suites in total. There's 1 level of ocean view and the rest of them, so 90% of them are veranda stateroom after that. And then our Encore class, the Encore and the Ovation, are exactly the same ship, except it has 300 suites, so it has 1 extra deck of accommodation and our specialty restaurant as well. Soon to be launched, our first ever purpose-built ultra luxury expedition vessels. The first one being Venture, which is going to be launched in Europe next April, and then 12 months later followed by Pursuit. So we are very, very excited about that. So the intimacy on board our ships, there's really a true feeling of intimacy on all of them. We have the highest space to guest ratio in the luxury cruising market. So we've got smaller ships, but there's really a lot of space for guests to move around. Our guests have always been sort of physical distance without being socially distanced. So remember, our biggest ship only has 300 suites on board. So some luxury cruise lines start at 300 and sort of go up from there. So it really lends itself to that private club atmosphere on board. Our service is second to none in the industry. Our staff are so quick on name recognition for all guests and their particular preferences as well. Every staff member on board from the officers all the way down are approachable, and they're there to serve our guests. In suite, each suite has both a suite hostess and a stewardess to tend to them. So we don't have a butler service, or we don't refer to anything as a butler service. That's sort of too stuffy for sort of who we are. We want our guests to feel just as comfortable around our stewardesses. So, and we've made them, you know, they're very approachable and invisible at the same time. So they need a button sewed on, if they you need their shoes polished, anything, they're right there. They're right outside the door for our guests to see. This is a V1 suite. This is as bad as it gets on Seabourn. So this is our leading category on the Encore. This photo's on the Encore. If guests were in the smaller ships, on the Odyssey class ships, and they were in an ocean view room, the suite would look identical to this, with the exception of the veranda. There would be a waist to ceiling, big picture window, window there, a picture window. So the suite itself, space-wise, is exactly the same. So if you were to book on our fabulous agent fare, which I'm going to tell you about it later, you'd be in one of these suites here. So all of them have king-size beds and lovely, elegant areas with a sofa and with a dining table in there, a small dining table that's big enough for a full dining service. There's a flat screen TV that the sofa is facing. The room is separated by that lovely cabinet, which is actually the in-suite bar. Out of shot on my side of the bed is a walk-in wardrobe that is also a dressing room if you're sharing with a friend. And here is your lead-in bathroom. So a beautifully appointed 5-fixture marble bathroom. So all have twin sinks, a full-length bath with a shower over the bath, and there is also a freestanding bath in the corner that you can sort of see the reflection of in that mirror there. So an absolutely just 6-star hotel quality bathroom as our lead-in. All of the products in the bathrooms are Molten Brown. We have our own exclusive scent that Molten Brown has made for us. So you don't need to leave your room, really. Now, on Seabourn, we go from our V class, our veranda class, straight into the penthouse suites before we move up to the premium suites. So this is just a picture of one of our beautiful penthouse suites. As you can see, 50% more space already. We have a separate closed-off bedroom with another TV in there. The bathroom space is bigger. The veranda is double the space. So really is just like you feel like you're in a small apartment. So that's even before we go up to our premier suites. My favourite topic again, food. Sorry, just had to have one sip. We have multiple dining options on board with many outdoor options too. A lot of our guests love the alfresco dining on board. All of the venues are open seating with the exception of our specialty restaurants. So guests can just dine with whoever they want. They can meet a new friend every night, dine on their own. It's totally up to them. We also have 24-hour in-room dining. Now, we don't call this room service, we call this in-room dining because if guests were to order dinner and dessert, say for instance, the room stewardess will come in and make the table up either out on the balcony or in their living area. So fully make the table up, flowers, the whole bit, and then the wait staff will bring in and serve the courses course by course, so dinner, and then they'll come back and serve dessert in there. So remember, with 300, maximum of 300 suites, we have 5 different restaurants available for dinner at any one time. And always remember that caviar and French champagne is on tap for our guests. They can call this, order it anytime they please. So that's another little add in. You actually sort of get a bit sick of caviar by the end of this. It's not for everyone. This is a picture of our beautiful restaurant, our main dining venue for dinner, especially on our cruises. So it can actually seat the full guest capacity at any one time. Though our guests do like to spread out because there are other options, but that's just saying that, if there was ever a time that we needed to seat them, we can. No bookings required. We have hosted tables in here too. So guests will receive at least one invitation on a 7-night cruise to either have a hosted table with an officer, a guest speaker, or entertainers. So they're actually perfect for solo travellers as well. So it's just such a fantastic social environment on board. Our solo travellers are sort of, I don't want to say mollycoddled, but they're very well looked after by all of the staff, and they always make sure that they're being introduced to everyone. So there's a real sort of camaraderie on board. And probably our favourite, our fresco dining experience is in the Colonnade. So this is our casual dining that is open for breakfast, lunch, and they do theme night dinners here. So theme nights meaning, Italian one night or, Middle Eastern another night. So another great all weather, blankets are out, the heaters are out if the weather's not that favourable. And many bars, many lovely lounges, again, just adding to that social atmosphere. This is my favourite, the observation deck, which is right upstairs, best view in the house. They have pre-dinner tapas served up here. We also do high teas here, just really beautifully pointed, lovely furnishings in all of them. It's just very, very inviting. We have an exclusive partnership with Chef Thomas Keller. Now, for those that don't know, among other restaurants, he owns the French Laundry in the Napa Valley and Per Se in New York, both of which are 3 Michelin star restaurants. He's renowned globally for his delicate attention to just every single aspect of the food he serves and where it's sourced. So much so that the chefs and all of the service staff that work on his specialty restaurant and our ship have to be trained at his kitchen in the Napa Valley before he'll allow them to serve his food. That's because many of these dishes are prepared tableside. There's a certain theatre that goes with it that just really makes it not just an unmissable dining experience sort of to your mouth and your stomach, but just to see it, it's just absolutely beautiful. And just to give you an idea, Per Se in New York has a starting menu of $295 US without wine per person. Our Seabourn gets this complimentary, as they can dine in here as many times as they like. Bookings are essential because it does fill up. That shot is actually of on our Odyssey class ships, so the smaller ships. We had converted our previous specialty restaurant, which was the degustation restaurant, into the Thomas Keller space. On the Ovation and the Encore, we have a purpose-built Thomas Keller restaurant and bar on board. Sir Tim Wright, the great Broadway songwriter, has put together an exclusive show for Seabourn guests that blends a digital and live performance about the story of his life and his music. He wrote Evita, Jesus Christ Superstar, The Lion King, amongst many shows. So that's actually a great show that plays on every single cruise, just once. And then the rest of the time we have fabulous cabaret intimate shows in here with our sort of in-house singers and dancers who are just fabulous. The space is also used for our Seabourn conversations. So each departure has at least one guest speaker from all walks of life and leaders in their field. They also host tables as well and sit around the pool with guests, so they're part of the furniture and they're treated as guests as well. I just wanted to show you, just so you can get your bearings of a map plan, a deck plan. All of our ships look identical to this. So the round circle in the middle is our beautiful atrium. All accommodation is forward of the atrium and all of the shared services are at the back, at the aft. So it's very, very easy to get around the ship, very hard to get lost. So yeah, when you're choosing, they're categorized sort of to where they are on the ship. The actual V, you can see there's 4 different classes of B class, and depending sort of really where they are is to where they're priced, but they are all identical to look at. So just to recap what is included in a Seabourn fare, regardless of the fare type, all of our dining venues, including that Thomas Keller specialty restaurant, our sushi specialty restaurant as well, are complimentary. All of our premium wines and spirits, the fine wines and premium spirits are available at all times, not just served at dinner and lunch. Guests can have champagne breakfast if they feel. Fully stocked in-suite bar for all guests with their preferences, so you can select what they would like in there, and they're not just little hotel bottles, they're actually full-size bottles of Grey Goose, of Hendrick's gin, all of those things. We don't have house wines at all. We definitely have wine recommendations for our sommeliers, or sommeliers, I should say. It's been a long morning. But guests can still choose whatever wine they like at any time. No tipping required at all. It's not expected and it's not required. French champagne, as I said, is on tap. Guests are greeted with French champagne when they arrive in their suite, and then it's available to them at all times. Finally, complimentary Wi-Fi is offered. Again, as in how it's social media, you can't download, the full history of the world on there, but it's very efficient, and yeah, each guest sort of gets that as well. And we have unique Seabourn experience for that are complimentary depending on what sailings that they're on. Galley Market Day, shopping with the chef. Just going to show you a couple of ones that we have. Our fantastic caviar in the surf. I've actually done this in Thailand. This is brilliant. The staff set up a full beach picnic with proper tables, proper chairs, tablecloths, fresh flowers on the tables, lobster on the barbecue, and then the crew come up in a tender and a surfboard and just call everyone into the surf to come and get their caviar and champagne. So much fun. Our Marina Day, this is weather dependent in the Mediterranean and Caribbean and the Philippine Islands as well. We pop the back down, pop the boot open, and guests can enjoy a saltwater swim. We've got a netted pool there, kayaks, banana boats, snorkeling, another fun day out. And this one I'm dying to do on our East Mediterranean cruises. In port at Kusadasi in Turkey, we offer guests an exclusive evening at Ephesus. So it's closed to the public. We bus the guests in, and we've got a lovely string quartet there. We serve champagne, caviar and canopy, and then take them back to the ship for dinner. So lovely inclusive experiences. Destination-wise, again, we follow the sun. We travel to all 7 continents where the weather's the most favourable. And because we are small, we can go into rivers, into smaller bays, into inlets. Our program for all of 2022 and 23 is now out. With 2024, Europe is due to be out late January as well. And our world cruise, which is nearly fully booked, is now open for 2024. Seabourn is also the only official cruise partner for UNESCO World Heritage. A lot of other cruise lines go there, but Seabourn guests, we actually travel to these sites with UNESCO guides that take them from the ship and then behind the scenes to all these places. All of our shore excursions with UNESCO include a donation to the UNESCO World Heritage. And they also include mid-ship overland tours. I know we have one in Cambodia. For places that are more inland, guests won't have time to get there in one day. We offer overnight excursions, fully escorted, and then the guests pick up the ship in the following port. Alongside our regular shore excursions, we offer a Ventures by Seabourn program for the more active adventurer, not to be confused with our expedition ship, that they are 100% expedition, but this Ventures by Seabourn program is for guests that are just looking to elevate their excursion experience. It was actually started by us in the Antarctica over 8 years ago, where we had some naturalists, marine biologists and adventure guides on board to sort of help guests do these optional shore excursions. And now we've sort of opened it up to our Norway, Alaska, the Amazon, and the Great Barrier Reef. So guests can sort of go kayaking straight from the ship, Zodiac from the ship, have fully guided hikes. I did in Alaska, did a fantastic one in, can't even remember where I was out there somewhere, on the Zodiac, and we did this fantastic 8-hour hike to a glacier, walked on the glacier, came back. It was just a brilliant day out. So speaking of expedition, meet our beautiful Venture ship. So this is a gorgeous, sleek, elegant expedition ship and looks like no other expedition ship in the market. Just 132 suites, all veranda, and nearly all of those decks are wide open for guests to roam around freely from the top, from everything down the back. So we're really sort of encouraging guests to sort of get out there and not just see all of these spectacular places through glass. I won't show you too many photos because we are running out of time. Just give you an example of the look that we are inside. It's very much a lodge style, an executive lodge style look. Adam Kahani has done all the interiors for us, who did all of the Ovation and the Encore. So this expedition lounge is the first landing room that guests come to after they've come up from the wet room downstairs. So again, another fantastic social area. There's a bar there. They can swap all their photos. They have some of the speakers sort of come down and talk about what they've just seen out there in the elements, have a drink before they go upstairs and enjoy the rest of the cruise. A lush infinity pool on this deck. See, this is an expedition ship. If you can think of what other expedition ships are out there in the market that are probably similarly priced, no one has this exceptional ultra luxury feel about it out there. Yeah, this beautiful. You can see through those chairs too. We have a patio restaurant. So again, there's more al fresco dining options there. Just because we're down in the Antarctica or up in the Arctic doesn't mean guests don't want to sit outside and enjoy everything that there is to offer. The suites on board our expedition ships are very similar in style and design to our classic ships, with the exception of these fantastic panorama veranda suites. So these are a brand new design for Seabourn, with the bed facing the floor to ceiling window, just to make sure guests wake up and just soak up that fantastic view out there. So they're square in shape. There's 16 of them on both ships. They run straight down the middle of the ship, so they're on various decks. They're slightly bigger than the standard veranda suites, and they sit price-wise between a V4 and a penthouse suite. So own veranda, so just these are actually selling out very, very fast. This is our inaugural season on Venture. No itinerary is the same. We sort of do a figure 8 all the way down from the Arctic down to the Antarctic. So all one-off itineraries, with the exception of our Svalbard Island experience and our Antarctica experience, where with both we run sort of back-to-back 8, 11-day experiences in that area that actually include a private air charter from either Oslo or Ushuaia, and overnight accommodation as well. When Pursuit is out, that will focus on the opposite side of the world, or complement what is going on with Venture. So we'll also include Asia and Kimberley, finally. We'll have a lovely expedition ship down there too. We are currently successfully back in service. We were one of the very first cruise lines to be successfully back in service in the Mediterranean and Caribbean. Again, all guests fully vaccinated, regular testing, all of the protocols are in keeping with over and above everything that is out there publicly. So again, I refer you to our website for the most updated things. In a post-COVID world, we're encouraging guests to go paperless. Previously, our guests got a leather-bound itineraries sort of quite a few years ago, but now we're sort of moving into one. Everyone's phone savvy, everyone's app savvy, so they will get a lot more information out of if they download this source before they travel, rather than sort of climbing all over the paper that's in their bag. Again, as with Go How, I encourage you to do so. Go Seabourn for all the latest flyers, but as Lara said, probably a lot of that information is already on the Creative website. But the big thing about signing up here is if you do Seabourn Academy and graduate, and it is a very short, intense course about selling Seabourn, but it will unlock our special agent fare for you. So our agent fare is $235 per person per day for that fully inclusive Seabourn experience. And you can choose a cruise that you want to go on, not one that we're telling you to go on, obviously subject to availability. So up to 14 days. So that is an evergreen offer too. So once you graduate, you can have a different cruise every year. So absolutely excellent thing. We could also have a travel advisor reference guide. I'll actually send that to Lara, because that's actually probably, it might already be there, but another thing to add to the Creative Cruising platform there. Our current promotion, because we are an inclusive cruise line, there's not that many other things that we can add in for guests. So we're really trying to entice guests to get back in there at 2022 and you know, just start traveling again. Don't put it off. So we're offering credit, minimum $800 suite credits for a lot of our 2022 departures. There'll be a full list on the Creative website. And also just on the QT, we have a Black Friday sale coming up soon that Lara and Creative will let you know about when we're able to let that go. And that will include a cruise discount on top of this shipboard credit. So as Lara mentioned, these beautiful free packages that we have again, the Creative have out there in the market, again, so well priced. We do give them some excellent pricing that you should be taking advantage of. That's the Maltese Magic and Spanish Isles was featured in their latest blog, and it really is the best of these ports that we go to too are really sort of the less sailed ports as well. I think that one has 3 nights in Malta, which is just, you know, spectacular. So again, speak to the Creative Cruising Reservations team when you're chasing fares, if you're after just cruise only, or just to see if there might be a better option for your guests there. And one thing I didn't mention join our social pages. We have a closed travel advisor Facebook groups and LinkedIn, I think, that just keep you updated with our promotions. There's no sort of ratings or anything there. If we're releasing product, we keep it sort of pretty light, but just keep you informed and just try to keep Seabourn and Hal top of mind. So there you have it. I did it 1 hour, and we even had questions in between. So
fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Jen. We do have another question for Seabourn from Julia. Are the optional excursions an extra cost?
Yes, they are. They are. Those ones that I included are Seabourn experiences that we include in that. The excursions, we had very much looked at doing that. Our guests haven't necessarily asked for that, but we did look at doing that to try and sort of be competitive, but it would be added to the cost, to be honest. And so that would take away from other aspects that are important to us with the service and with the other offerings that we have on board. We didn't want to offer just generic shore excursions for the sake of having them in there, because the majority of our guests have sort of been to a lot of these places too. So yeah, we're not going to be doing that in the foreseeable future, but promotions like this with, a minimum of $800 on board credit, you can very well spend them on that. And I have to say, the shore excursions, we've done them, my husband and I, they're really well priced. They are, not that much more than the ones on Holland America Line. I probably shouldn't say that. And they're all very much in keeping with Seabourn. So the small groups, we did a full day in Ho Chi Minh City that was an 8-hour tour, and there were probably, I think 24 guests, and we were all split up to little mini Mercedes vans. So that could seat 9, but they only put 6 in each. So to keep everyone sort of spread it out, this is, 3 or 4 years ago. So, they're really exceptional and really different experiences. Like, we don't do generic things. If you've never been to a city, there's always a $49 walking tour that you can do that's fully escorted, which is fantastic. A lot of people do. So really well priced. You get what you pay for, or you get more than what you pay for.
Fantastic. Did we have any other questions, anyone? Either about Holland America, about Seabourn, creative cruising? No? All right. Well, thank you so much for that, Jen. That was incredibly helpful. And I know I'm going to go and do Seabourn Academy.
Yes, do it. And can I just say, our direct business, which has really picked up, which really makes me nervous because I'll be out of a job. So don't be afraid to ask guests, if they're ready to go for the next year, because a lot of them are, and particularly with Hal, with a $99 deposit, there is, very, very little risk. They've got 6 months at least to think about it, by the time that trip comes around. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask them.
Yeah, fantastic. All right. Thank you so much, Jen. Thank you, everyone, for attending. We will be placing the recording of this on our website as well. So if you do want to go back and review anything that you might have missed, it will be on there from later, well, probably tomorrow, but maybe later this week. All right. Thank you again.
Thank you, Lila. Thank you, everyone. See you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.